Okay, let's call the meeting to order. Start with roll call.
Commissioner Allen?
Present.
Commissioner Norwood?
Here.
Commissioner Siragusa?
Here.
Commissioner Roberts? Here. Commissioner Stallings?
Here.
Commissioner Orr?
Here.
Mayor Pinkinen?
Here. All right, thank you. Item number 2. At the Commissioner's request, discuss any item of concern on the rescheduled regular session agenda. Okay, seeing none. Item 3, study items 3.1, update on Enid Lights Up the Plains.
Hello, Commissioners and Mayor. I'm Natalie Berlow with Main Street Enid, and I'm here to give you guys an update about Enid Lights Up the Plains and a little bit of the Ice Rink as well. So before I start about the update, I just wanted to give a huge shout out to the city and the city employees. This seriously could not have been done without them. They have been a huge help through all of this. We have met every other week for the last couple of months just to nail everything down. So they've just been great with great attitudes. They're excited about this. They want to help in any way that they can. So a big shout out to Corey Buller, Everett Glenn, Mike Williams, Scott Morris, Gerald Gilbert, James Buck, Ashley Humphrey, and all of their teams because they have really worked. So thank you, thank you, thank you. So Enid Lights Up the Plains. The schedule, I guess the map's up here first. So we have an updated map since we, of course, know that this is going to be bigger than ever. This is the day after Thanksgiving. It starts at 5 o'clock. We will be starting about 2:30 when the roads will be blocked for all of this. We are adding the tree. I think Nicole Winfield is here to talk about the tree on that part, but they are doing the Christmas tree lighting that evening. So we are going to be blocked around the double square. This year we're going to go all the way up Independence and Grand up to Garriott, just for extra safety precautions. We've got the parade. We've got we're expecting a lot of people to come from out of town, so we want to make it as safe as possible. And I know that Everett and I have been working really closely on this map, so it's not just me coming up with this. He has helped me figure out what the best way is to go about that. So, and he's really helped us streamline the parking. Transit is going to help us get people to and from parking lots. They are going to block one side of, or one lane of Garriott is going to be when you, if you're trying to get to the event and you're coming from out of town, you're going to get into that lane. They're going to give you a ticket that says which lot you're going to and where you're going to park. And so everybody knows how many parking spaces are in each of those lots. So that has been a really cool thing. They get to keep those tickets, so it's kind of like a souvenir as well. Very excited about that. And I think Everett, if you have any questions about that, can kind of give you a little bit more information. So just a little bit about the fireworks. Usually we set those off at 7:15. We are going to push that back to 7:30 this year, just to allow for time for the ceremony of the one tree lighting. They'll start at 7, and then at 7:30 the fireworks will go off. So at 7:15, we're working really closely with Western Enterprise. At 7:15, they would like Independence. Can you go back to the map there? Sorry. Independence, where it says the fireworks safety zone, that is going to be blocked at 7:15, a hard cutoff. So no pedestrian traffic at all to allow for safety. We are going to have fire trucks. The fire department's going to help with that. They're going to block with their fire trucks and kind of act as security, so that way we don't get any pedestrians in that area. The parade lineup will start at 5. I think I changed it on the schedule. You can go to the schedule now. So 2:30, we're going to have the roads blocked so we can start getting everything ready. The band is going to start playing at the gazebo and the event begins. 5 o'clock is actually, today we decided 5 o'clock is going to be the parade lineup, just because we actually have about 35 entries this year, and that's the most we've ever had. So really excited about that. And then the Enid Amateur Radio Club is going to help with that. And at 6 o'clock, the parade is going to begin. About 6:45 is what we're estimating the parade's going to end, and we're going to start directing our traffic down to this, the one where they're going to have a stage and the ceremony over on Independence. Then 7 o'clock is when the ceremony begins, and then 7:30, the one tree is lit, and the fireworks will go off. Our event will then end at about 7:45, and once we get all of the people out of the double square area, that's when we're going to start taking those barricades up about 8 o'clock, once we know that's all safe and there's no people in that area. So the parade will be lined up as usual over by Garfield Furniture, and then they will then exit on Main, where Enid Brewing Company is. So you'll kind of see that green line is going to be the parade traffic. So that way they're not getting in the way of any of the ice rink or any of that. And then pedestrian traffic will be directed down Independence, and then like I said, 715 will direct them to Grand, so they're not in that fireworks area. So let's see. So Corey Buller with Parks and Recreation, him and his team have been working really hard to make sure downtown looks great. They've been cleaning up the area. They have ordered new garland and lights for the lampposts, so that way that, we can add some extra lighting to the area and make it safe. They've been great to work with, so we're really excited to get that taken care of. Let's see. And then I also would highly suggest, if you are talking to people who are coming from out of town or just here in the community, just prepare them that they're probably going to want to come early. We're expecting a lot of people this year. They're going to want to be prepared to walk a little bit if they're not going to use the transit, and also to dress warm because it might be cold. So any questions about Enid Lights Up the Plains before I go on to the ice rink? No? Okay. Just a little bit of update about the ice rink. We will be opening this Friday, so really exciting. I don't know if you guys have watched the process. They are very close to being finished with just building it. About Wednesday, Thursday, they will start building ice. Cross your fingers that we have cold enough weather, but we did it last year, so it's going to be great. We're going to do it this year. The rink will run until January 2nd, and we have many parties, groups, churches, schools that have already booked the rink out, so lots of community support. It will be slightly bigger this year. Last year it was 75 by 45. This year it's 85 by 52. The cost of the rink is nearly doubled since last year just due to material costs, but with support we will be able to grow that each year. Also, we want to thank Everett and Corey and both of their teams. They have built a really awesome archway. Not sure if you guys have seen that. It's on Independence on the sidewalk. We have filled that with thousands of lights that you can stand under and take pictures with. Main Street Enid did purchase the lights, and then the Parks and Recreation and Everett's team, they had built the archway and then put the lights on there for us. So. Just because of the community, this has been a huge community effort, not just Main Street, not just Stride, everybody who has put in a lot of work and support in this. So we thank you for really letting us have our vision and believing in us. So any questions about Ice Rink? Okay.
Great
well,
job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You always do a great job of
Yeah.
organizing everything. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'm excited.
All right. Update on lighting the one. We've already done that, right? No. No? Okay. Update on lighting the one. I'm sorry.
You're fine.
Look right at you.
No worries. I'm Nicole Winfield. I am the project coordinator for the one. Thank you so much for inviting me to come speak about what's going on and what we're doing and this big event we have coming up. So Kyle Williams hired me back in last year in November to coordinate the one and get everything together that we need in order to make this work. We built an executive team of about 15 people because I cannot definitely do this on my own. It's gotten so extensive, but it's going to be absolutely amazing. If some of you didn't know, which I think most of you know, this is a 42-day event, and we have a lot of stuff going on throughout that 42 days. So I'll start by letting you know that the event will feature, can you put up the map really quick? Sorry, I'm gonna go over that really quickly. Just about the basics that, so there is Christ Tree right in the middle. There's another map, a little bit more detailed on the one area.
That's the only map I put on there.
Oh, that's the only one you put it on there? Okay, that's okay. So in the middle, down there where it says the one tree, there's the giant Christmas tree, and then there's going to be 12 perimeter trees. Those trees are about 10 foot tall, and they are going to span the length of Park Avenue. And then at the end of each street, there are archway trees. We made those kind of as a photo opportunity for people, and that helps with our marketing as well to drive people here and get excited about it. Also, there's a hospitality tent on the other side of where the ice rink is. That will be used mostly to host parties, but on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays, between certain times, the public is allowed to go there to keep warm, because we know that there's going to be cold nights. So we'll have some heaters inside the tent, the hospitality tent. It'll be 30 by 60, and it'll fit, like I said, on the other side of that rink. Also, just to the the southeast of the tent, there will be a stage, and that's where all of our events are. Honestly, I'm going to be honest with you guys, I don't know what the events are. I know there's music, I know there's dance performances, I know there's some services going on. Nearly every night is full. We've kept maybe like Mondays and Tuesdays open just for, you know, music playing and kind of a calmer ambiance. But we have so much going on, and you can find all the events going on at our website at theoneenid.com. There's a list on there, and then it should be detailed as to what all the events going on, what those include. And everybody is invited to every one of those events. Everything that we do at the One is free. So that's a basic run through of the One. Like I said, it's 42 days. So from November 26th, when the lighting is, all the way through January 6th. On the 6th, we will do the last lighting of the tree and then turn it off, and, you know, wait hopefully again until next year to do this again. So for opening night, our stage will be located just south of those food trucks, and the stage will be on Independence and Park Avenue, and it will face the tree. So everybody will face west. And then if you'll go to the schedule of events, we're very detailed as far as what's going on, what's when. So if you guys just want to take a look at that, I won't, you know, go minute by minute of what's going on. But the ceremony from 6:30 to 7 is the community choir concert, and that's when people will be right after the parade. We'll direct people. Our volunteers will direct people to the tree area. We have volunteers doing that. You know, come this way. This is the direction that you can go, kind of thing. And then we will start the ceremony at 7, and then essentially the tree lighting is at 7:30, and then immediately after we will do fireworks. So kind of like probably just like 30 seconds after, just enough for people to kind of turn and look in the right direction. The music that evening will go all the way until 10 o'clock, and then at 10 o'clock we'll do the breakdown of the stage, and that'll take a few hours. So we anticipate to be completed with that at about 2 o'clock. I'm trying to think what else. As Natalie said, I'm going to agree with everything that Natalie said on the participation with Parks and Rec for the city. They have been absolutely amazing in this planning process. We have met every other week, and I know that's a lot. That takes a lot of time. We're usually an hour. There's a lot going on. And they have been absolutely incredible. You guys have an amazing, amazing team in that department. And I also want to thank you guys for doing all that you are to invite guests to Enid, and they're really going to see something absolutely amazing, not only with the One, but they're going to see our community, and I'm so excited about that. We are going to have so many people come to this event. I see people talking about it from states all over the place. So this is going to be huge, and I can't wait for people to see all that you guys have done downtown too. And the other thing about that is that I always saw that area downtown as an event space, and it now has that capability. All that grass and that sod you guys put in. I'm from Chicago, and that was one of my favorite things, to sit on a hill and watch the bands play at the bottom of the hill, and I just see that in my mind in the future. And so thank you very much for allowing that in our city to do that down there. And that, of course, helps us in what we're doing as well in this project. As Natalie already covered, the parking for out-of-towners, we're going to start putting that on our website. We're going to do a hard push on that for social media. We do have a lot of social media followers. Our reach with social media is great as well. That will allow us to let everybody know kind of how that's going to work, that they're going to come in down 412, turn down 4th, come in down 81, and then turn down Illinois. There's going to be a lot of direction that way, and I'm really glad for that. I know they've got that all under control. That was a concern of mine, but hearing them in the past few weeks, I know they've got it down. So we will also have parking for VIP, media, any of you individuals in the parking lot, the school parking lot, EPS school parking lot. We've had some people already reach out to us about handicap parking in that area, so we can definitely do that. We just need them to contact us so we can put them on a list to make sure that we have enough room in that lot. There will be chairs, I didn't mention that, but there will be chairs in front of the stage and on the sides of the chair, on the sides of the stage as well. We ask, of course, I think it's known that to just respect the people that need to utilize those chairs. This is ceremony is going to be about 30 minutes. It's going to be cold. There will be shivering, so we want the people who need to sit to be sitting in those chairs. As Natalie said as well, on social media we'll do a push, and on our website, please bring a chair, a blanket, sit on that beautiful hill that you guys just put sod down on, and dress warm, and be prepared to walk, as she said as well. So I think I've covered everything. Are there any questions that you guys may have? Okay, awesome. Thank you guys so much.
Great briefing, thank you. All right. Item 3.3, update on Christmas in the park.
Mayor, Commissioner, Gerald, I'm just coming in to update our Christmas in the park. We got a short video I'll show you, and then we'll kind of discuss little things that's going to happen around this.
Christmas in the park here at Meadow Lake Park from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. starting November the 27th, December 4th, December 11th, and December 18th. This year we'll be adding the Santa Stroll, which includes a walk with Santa, a 1-mile fun run, and then a 5K run following after that. You can register online at www.enid.org/Christmas in the park. Come on out, bring your family, bring your friends. We're going to be so excited to see you.
Ho, 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 ho. Ho, 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 ho. Merry Christmas. So we pushed this out this week for this. Like you said, we added the 5K, the Santa Stroll. They came to us, and it was kind of strange. They said, you want to run in the dark? But they wanted to, so we're going to light up a trail for them. That's actually a 5K run, and it's going to be a beautiful run going through the park and through the golf course. So thanks, Michael Lee, for letting us use the golf course. We have 11 character stations this year. We improved from 8 to 11, so it's getting bigger and better as we grow. And I think we're becoming a Christmas town the way we're looking here. So I'm really excited about it. So any questions? I can tell you all the characters that are going to be there if you want to kind of let them get out. Elf on the Shelf will be our main character going in. He was a hit a couple years ago in the drive-thru. We are adding an Enid Express that's going to be right around the railroad track, and it's going to look like we're collecting gifts and putting on a train. A Scrooge, we're going to have a Scrooge out there. Buddy the Elf, of course, he's a big hit. We got our Toys for Tots coming back this year. We also added collection for our elderly people for nursing homes. They came to us and we set up a deal with that, so we're going to be collecting shampoos and stuff like that for the nursing homes and give that out to them also while we're doing this. On the south side, Frosty's coming in the gate, the Abominable Snowman. We added gingerbread men this year, going to be setting out a gingerbread house. The Grinch, which is always a big hit. We added Ralphie from the Christmas Story, so that's going to be kind of cute. And then we got the Reindeer Gang, the Toy Makers, and the elves, and at the end, Mr. and Mrs. Claus is going to be at the tail end of it. So we've got a lot of photo props this year, so when we're not there, you're going to be able to come into the park and take photos. We actually have a full sleigh where Santa and Mrs. Claus are going to be, but when we're not there, you can be able to sit and take pictures. So it's really cute. My welder made that, by the way, so when you see it, it's really, really sharp. That's about it, unless you got any questions.
What are the dates and times again?
December, or 27th is our first one, which is the Saturday after the big event downtown. The 4th, the 11th, and the 8th. And we fire up at 6 and go till around 8:30, 9 o'clock. We'll usually get out there because we get a big long traffic. The 4th is actually the run, so we may be running a little behind getting started on that one because they're gonna be running through the park and coming back out. But I think I've designed it well enough where they're gonna be coming in when we're gonna get started on the backside with the cars. So we should go get everybody out of the way and keep moving, so.
Your staff never quits moving, and they still get all the work done for the city.
Yes.
I understand for Halloween, you had like 2,500 people go through.
Yes, sir.
Remarkable
Oh, yeah.
characters coming here. That was kind of scary.
Yeah,
But, hey, listen, I know you guys are just, you're over the top. Thank you.
thank you. We love doing it and for the community, for the kids, and I have a great time planning, being part of this, so.
Good. All right. No other questions? Thank you. All right. Item 3.4, discuss revised building permit ordinance.
Mayor and Commissioners, before we get started on this, I wanted to give you a little background and a little story about where we are now with code and where we're going, and then we'll go to these permit fees that we began a conversation on maybe a month ago. But we do have, right now, we have 3 property inspectors, we have 4 building inspectors, we have a code official, an assistant code official, and a permit technician. And all of these guys, they go through quite a bit of training with the state for what they do. There's the International Code Council, and so all of our building inspectors have to be certified, and they are certified as not only residential, you know, for each trade. So there's electrical, mechanical, plumbing, all of those guys, all those trades, they have a residential certification and a commercial certification. And the process to get that certification is extensive. The amount of training that they have to do and the knowledge they have to possess to pass the tests is incredible. We send people to, there's a school in Denver that's a whole week-long school that people can go to. It's quite expensive, but it's a cram course to help people get through the knowledge that they need to so that they can get certified to inspect buildings and the trades that they're after. And then likewise, our property inspectors, they have basic code enforcement certifications that they get. Our permit technician, she has a certification in permits. And we're working on one for property maintenance. We have several of our property guys working on another certification for that. We have a few of our building inspectors that are working on a plan review certification. So we're always trying to continue to add certifications and learn. But I guess what I'm saying, the point of all this is the City of Enid personnel that are out there looking at houses, doing these inspections, there's an incredible amount of training that they have to do and go through to get these certifications. And so I wanted to start out by telling you what our guys have to do. Also, before we get into building permit fees, we'll be bringing someone in front of you, hopefully either in December or January, hopefully very soon, to try to explain our building codes and what we are moving to. The state of Oklahoma has adopted some new building codes, and each time they do that, then cities have to scramble to adopt what the state adopted. So here's just an example. This is the 2018 International Building Code. You can see how thick this book is. This book just shows you the significant changes between 2015 and 2018. And so it is very hard, it would be very hard for someone from Oklahoma City or for me or any staff from Code to stand in front of you all and tell you what are the big changes, because here's just the International Building Code. And I didn't bring all the trades, but here's the electric book for the electricians, and this is significant changes to plumbing and mechanical. And these are the significant changes on electrical. So there's a lot for these guys to know and change. And we'll be adopting some of these new things soon, and hopefully we'll bring more information to you soon on adopting those things.
Scott, can I ask, so the employees down there, do we pay for them to get more certifications or take the classes? Do we help them with that?
We pay for all of their travel. We pay for all of the expenses to get to where they go. We pay for the courses. We pay for the exams. The city pays 100% for all of that training.
Oh, my.
Yeah,
That's over the top.
yeah.
I just meant you go online and get a certification. You go an extra step.
Well, it's important to us that we have trained people out in the field, especially if we have ambitious employees that want to improve themselves. They're making themselves more valuable to the community and to us, so that, you know, we might have someone that's certified in doing general building inspections. They might also want to learn how to do electrical,
Yeah.
you know, and a lot of towns for sure have people that do more than one trade
Sure.
on inspections, and so.
Well, it's hard to find people that want to, you know, do all that. It's a glamorous job, but it's not like being a fireman.
Scott, how many people do you have in the code department?
Let's see, we've got 4 building inspectors, 3 property inspectors, a permit tech, and a code official, an assistant code official, and 1 more, so is that roughly 10?
Those
About 10.
those four code officials, do they do all the trades? Or do they specialize?
They specialize in 1 each.
Okay.
Yeah. So if there's no questions about that, we'll run through these building permit fees. I changed a few slides, and we have made some modifications from the last time we presented it. We'll go through that. So why would we want to change our fee structure? We haven't changed it since 2004. And we do hear from contractors that sometimes it's confusing when they are putting in a bid, you know, to know, well, how much am I going to have to pay in permits? And so we wanted to make something as simple as we could, not only for us, but for contractors and for anyone building a home to know what's it gonna take to get the permit. So it makes the bidding better. We have talked to a lot of different people about it. We've listened to feedback, and we've talked to home builders, Northwest Home Builders. We've talked to STK Construction. We've talked to a lot of trade contractors. We've talked to Brian Henson. We've talked to Northwest Plumbing. We've talked, I mean, I'm missing a lot of conversations, but we've talked to several people about this, and I've presented these fee changes to Northwest Home Builders a few times, and they've had opportunities to look at it, and we've heard from several people that simple is better. They don't have a problem with what we're trying to change, and in the grand scope of the remodeling, our current system is based on an evaluation of how big the project is, and moving to this is a much simpler, and depending on project scope can be much less expensive as projects get more expensive. So that's why we would want to do that, and how. Very simple calculation on construction you can see there 10 cents a square foot, 7 cents for carports and accessory structures, and on the commercial side 14 cents. As projects go over 10,000 square feet, it just adds 1 cent per square foot. Pretty easy calculation to make. And then on the trades, 5 cents for residential and 7 cents for commercial. The same strategy moving forward on all of the trades that we have. There are minimum permit fees of $35. So, for instance, if you're doing an alteration or addition on something and the square footage is so minimal on it that your permit, if it would calculate less than $35, our minimum fee is just $35. That's generally not going to be the case. You'd have to have a pretty small addition to not make it there. But a couple of the things we did after we heard feedback from this group, we did have a minor wiring fee in this, and we decided to remove that because really, other than the new construction, additions, putting in a temp service or installing a service, there's not a lot of things that would require a permit. So we just have that minimum permit fee. We removed the minor wiring. We did the same thing on plumbing. We removed minor plumbing. And I have a few more slides on plumbing at the end, so we'll get to that because I know there will be questions. But we still have the water heater permit fee in there, and I'll get to that because I know we have questions about it. But it follows the same pattern: 5 cents for new construction and remodel on the residential side and 7 cents on commercial. The same for mechanical, and we removed the minor mechanical fee because really other than a change out or a gas test, we're not gonna see anything that we're gonna permit, so why have it in there? So we took that out. Try to clean it up a little bit.
I have a global question. Why do we need to change the fees? Why do we need to increase them?
You know, that's a great question. You know, when we were looking at that, we were looking at the idea that things cost more than they did in 2004. You know, that's the last time that we changed it to $25. We pay more for our employees, we pay more for our trucks and equipment. That's not to say that I'm stuck on $35 and we have to be stuck on $35. That can be changed.
Well, I'm not arguing about any single one fee.
Yeah.
I guess I'm thinking globally, we're paying more taxes to the city. The city's getting more money from our taxes. Why do we necessarily have to burden the people that are out there working? And I mean, how much money are we talking about on an annual basis with this increase?
I can get the numbers for you. I would think it would be
is it a
fairly
big
minimal.
Well, if it's fairly minimal, why are we doing it?
Yep.
It leaves people with a bad taste. You tell them you're going to increase the fees.
Well, it sounds like it's a lot easier for them to figure out how much it is because they've
Well,
kind of.
Right.
if that's the key,
Yeah.
that's different.
Yeah.
But if we're just raising the fees because it's been
Yeah.
so many years since we've
Yeah.
done it before, and it's not really going to make a big impact on the way the city operates, and the city's already making more money just on the basis that the taxes are.
Commissioner Stallings, let me hear you right. What I think I hear you say is that maybe not the 5 cents and the 7 cents, that might not be the big deal, but on these minimal change outs and minimum permit fees and hot water fees, is what I'm hearing you say that's the bigger issue than the cents that we're charging?
What's going to be on the paper tomorrow? It's going to say, city to raise fees.
Yeah.
Well, we're just in a study session. We're not deciding anything tonight.
So
There's plenty of time.
So that's a good example though, because that's what happens is people have hot water tanks go out. And so it was a $25 fee, now we're looking at a $35. Is there a gas pressure test involved if it's a gas water heater?
We'll only charge the one fee.
Okay.
So if it's gas or electric, it's just one permit for $35.
So when do you do the gas pressure test? When I am digging a hole in my yard and I punctured the gas line? How I hit it in that much space, I don't know, but.
I am also learning a lot about code right now. I'm being kind of thrown into this. We're still in the hunt for a good code official. My understanding, and I could be wrong, is that when we need a gas pressure test, it's before a gas meter is turned on and installed. You know, they have to give a green light to OG&E in order to turn on the
And
services.
we're pretty quick about answering that because that family is going without hot water. Here they got a new hot water tank and it's all ready to go, but they're waiting on a city inspector to get there to say it's okay to turn it on. Is that gas and electric or one over the other?
It's $35 for,
Okay.
yeah. And we won't charge an
In other
extra
words,
fee
if
for
it's a
gas.
gas hot water heater, the intent's not to charge 35 for a hot water heater and then 35 for a gas test.
Okay.
But this is good feedback we're getting. We struggled quite a bit with this, I can tell you, about, what to bring back. I think the feedback I think we've initially received from you guys is that like Scott said, the cents per square foot instead of basing it on a valuation is better for everybody. And so these other little fees, if we want to leave them the same or reduce them, or heck, in some cases, it could be zero. We're okay with that. We're looking to get that feedback so that when we come back, we can have the most buy-in from not only the commission who has to approve it, but also the contractors and everybody else. So that's good feedback.
We did do an evaluation on a 2,000 square foot home and a 5,000 square foot business and compare that to about 10 other cities as to what they would charge for that, all the inspection fees related to each one of those scenarios. And we put these fees where we would be about right in the middle, where there are going to be some communities that charge a little less than we do, and certainly there are communities that charge far more. So we try to put ourselves right in the middle, because when you're looking at a fee that you might not change again for, the last one was since 2004, you want to at least put yourself maybe halfway up there, so you're not the top, but you're, not the cheapest in the state. So that's where these numbers came from, was trying to put us in the middle. And if this commission wants us to adjust those numbers, we can certainly look at that.
Well, we may show some examples when we come back, because I know the examples that you and I have looked at least the fee structure on the cents per square foot is actually, I can't say in every case, but in many cases, does cost the consumer less or the developer less. So it's simpler. So I think we're pretty good on that from the feedback I'm getting. We just need to figure out all these other miscellaneous little charges and minimum permit fees and figure out what's acceptable. And because as I said last time, and I'm going to keep on saying it, having as much buy-in as we can get is priceless to me. And you're right, Commissioner Stallings, the amount of money we get from this, I don't know what it is exactly, but it's peanuts compared to the big stuff. So it's not going to make a difference in whether we miss a payroll or don't get a truck or something. So I think that's important to take into account too. And we want our public to have buy-in, because we're in the process of trying to improve our image at the city and the code department about being user-friendly, customer-friendly. And so we don't certainly want to shoot ourselves in the foot here. If charging $35 instead of $25, or maybe in some cases we don't have a minimum permit fee, I'm okay with that. So that's good feedback. Thank you. Again, we just want to get the feedback today, because we did have a revised ordinance on here for you to look at, but I know even based on this feedback and probably some other things, since we put that on there, we would probably, that's going to change before the final product we bring to you. We're going to try to incorporate as much feedback as we can, and we're not ready to bring you the final product. So thank you. Please give us more feedback, and I'm going to stop talking, Scott, so you can keep on going.
We can all agree that simple is better. We want to try to keep this as simple as we can. A lot of the plans that some of the other top 10 cities have, they're counting up how many toilets, how many fixtures, and there's a little calculation for each one of those. I'm not interested in something that's complicated like that. Let's just go off of the square foot and move on with the day. So that's one of the plans that we have. So one of the main reasons to do this is right now we have it all grouped together, where you have to know who your mechanical, electrical, plumbing contractors are in order to get your building permit. We want to pull all that out so that each trade goes and pulls their own permits. That can help us get construction projects moving a little quicker. So we want to do that. It makes it easier for people, and it can reduce the cost on very large remodels. So that's why we want to do it. All right, hot water heaters. I know this is a hot topic. In the 2015, that's what we're in now, the International Building Code, that's what we look at to determine when we need a permit. It spells out very clearly what all of the rules are, and it even shows where the exceptions are, what you don't need a permit for. And I don't know if you can read that on the screen, but it says what you don't need a permit for is the stopping of leaks in drains, water, soil, waste or vent pipes, provided they're not concealed, and the clearing of stoppages or the repairing of leaks in pipes, valves, or fixtures, and removal and reinstallation of water closets, which are toilets, provided such repairs do not involve or require the replacement or rearrangement of valves, pipes, or fixtures. So what that means is you can install or replace fixtures in the same location, you can repair some leaks, you can unthaw pipes, unplug a sewer, replace a water faucet, repair a leak for your toilet, remove those, put those back. Basically, if you're doing anything that you don't need to get into the wall or under their house to do, those types of things, you don't require a permit. There are other cities that have websites that spell it out very clearly what you do and don't need a permit for. And I've looked at some of those models with our code department, and we think it might be a good thing to add to our website to try to bring some clarity as what you need, what you should and shouldn't, need a permit for. And I did spend quite a bit of time online looking at can I find an example of any city that would not require a permit for a hot water heater? And I spent quite a bit of time online, and everything I read is kind of pointing us to this could be the most dangerous appliance in your home if it's installed properly. And furthermore, our state code says that it's not exempted from having a permit. So that leads me to a strong conclusion that we should have that. Another thing that you might not be aware of that is a really good thing that's happening is if you were to go to Lowe's right now and ask them to install a hot water heater, they would send someone out there to install it. And before they pay their contractor for the work they did, they have to see a green tag from our code department. And so that is good assurance for anyone shopping at Lowe's to know that if you paid them to install your hot water tank, it's going to have an inspection, it's going to be done right, and then they'll pay their contractors
Is
to
that
do
fee
that.
added to the cost of the heater when you pay at Walmart or no?
I have not experienced that at Lowe's. I would assume that they would build the cost of the permit and into what they pay for their installation.
Otherwise, would the resident be responsible for paying you the 35, or is the installer, the plumber, or whatever you're using to install it,
My understanding is that that's just, when you pay Lowe's, you pay Lowe's, and
Okay.
they go
It
pull.
would be the contractor.
Yeah, contractor.
And in most situations, it's a contractor, like myself, I'm not capable of, I would probably do it in a dangerous manner. So if I pay somebody, it is a contractor, it's their responsibility. So in Lowe's, we don't know what Lowe's charges or what they pay their contractors to install. We don't know about that arrangement, but.
Right.
If it's
So
$100
since they're installing it, they have to do it and they require the green tag. The customer wouldn't have to, either they've got to charge at the register for the hot water heater, and I don't believe they do that, so they take it out and whatever their arrangement is. I don't know that answer. We could probably ask Merle Cordray and find out.
I would like to throw it out there too, we're not trying to penalize people for this type of inspection, and so I would say, although this may not be the preferable way to do it, if for some reason you have installed personally a hot water tank and not gotten a permit, we would, if you would come to us and want an inspection, we're not going to penalize you and give you some type of a triple fee penalty for that. We want to send our inspectors out and make sure that it's installed correctly. So even though it should have happened ahead of time, I would love to see our department, offer that service, even if it's already been done, to go out there and make sure it's done right.
So summarize again, the fee for the inspection on a hot water heater is going from 25 to 35, is that what you're proposing?
Correct.
Okay.
And what's the expectation when an inspector comes out to look at a hot water heater? Are they checking the gas lines to make sure they're not leaking, or what are they doing? Because, like I said, I've had experience with 2 or 3 of these, and they come out and look at the water heater for about 15, 20 seconds, and yeah, looks good, and then they leave. So what's the expectation? What are they getting for their $35? Are they they putting soapy water around the gas line and making sure it's not leaking, or what are our inspectors expected to do?
I can get a more detailed explanation of what checklist they're looking for, and I can send that out. I would assume it's like, I'm assuming here because I've not done these inspections, but I would assume it would be like one of our service guys changing a tire at the service station. How long should it take to change a tire? Well, what's your experience level? How many tires have you changed? So I would expect an inspector that has inspected hundreds of hot water tanks to be able to come in and know what they're looking for and be able to assess that quickly. I'm not going to put a time limit on what I think their inspection should last, but it might be different from person to person depending on their experience. But I can certainly look at checklists, and we can send you something of what we would expect them to inspect. That's hard to say.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's a lot more involved to just looking at it, because if it's in a garage, it's got to be so high off the ground. If it's in your closet, there's got to be extensions of pipe for the gas. And if it's not gas, I mean, electric stuff. So I can.
The venting is very important.
Myself, but, so I understand where you're going with this.
Yeah.
But I'm willing to look at all the fees for it as well. Because it's one thing, water heaters are something that it knows no income level, so everybody has to replace one sooner or later, it seems like.
That is true, and I have had the privilege of buying one recently, and they are quite a bit more expensive than they were 10
Well,
years
yeah,
ago.
that's gone up tremendous.
You get a permit?
Yeah.
Got one more thing.
Did you get a permit?
I did not install it myself.
These tankless water heater systems are becoming a lot more popular. Are we addressing that in code as well? Is there similar inspections that have to happen? I know it's a lot more popular now than it was in the past.
We would treat those the same as
Okay.
hot water. I'm
Alright.
sure the inspection might be a little different
Yeah.
on those.
Okay, thank you.
I think that's a great idea, having, do I need a permit type information somewhere? But I think it'll save you guys, the city employees, time, because you know everybody's gonna call.
Yeah.
Hopefully they'll know it's on the website somewhere. I think you'll be saving yourself a lot of time by putting it on there.
All right, well, that's what I've got. Hopefully, we can move forward soon and come up with what we think the best plan is and get that out to the public.
I have one other question. Do you know whether we've ever had a problem with a water heater in town? I mean, somebody ever got hurt or one blown up? That's not something I've heard about.
I've heard of a few instances of house fires caused by lightning strikes, and they have determined that the weak link was the gas piping on the hot water tank. Does that sound right?
There was a house just off of Cleveland on the east side of the road over by the Lutheran church that blew plumb up.
Right.
And I think it was a hot water deal.
I've heard of one or two of them over in the Pheasant Run on the west side of the road.
Chief, you got anything to add to that?
So as far as lightning strikes and gas lines, that's usually the, excuse me, the type of corrugated gas line that they use in the attic space, just the way it grounds to the surfaces in the attic itself. A lot of the explosions you hear about are because of gas leaks to gas appliances. And when you're talking about a gas heater or water heater, you're talking about a gas appliance in a small enclosure, so it doesn't take much gas buildup, and you obviously have an ignition source right there in the same room. So if a pilot light goes out, gas accumulates from a gas leak, it finds another ignition source, a few ways that can happen. One of the other hazards is you talked about ventilation. If it doesn't burn efficiently, it's an older appliance. If you see yellow flame on any gas appliance, that means it's putting off carbon monoxide because it's not burning efficiently. So you can have a severe health issue there and possibly even death, long-term exposure to carbon monoxide. So there are a few hazards associated with the appliance, but the gas and the ventilation are the two primary things that they're looking for on the inspections and the main concern why they want to be permitted and inspected.
Okay, good. Any other questions? All right, thanks, Scott.
Well, just for us to help us as we go forward and try to work on bringing something back acceptable, what I'm kind of hearing is maybe on those smaller fees, those little fees, minimum fees, maybe we just leave them the same? Or do you want to look at lowering them, or what, to help us with some feedback, what ideas or thoughts do you have on those? Would it be to keep it the same or lower it, or?
Well, I would like to see, unless it's in the change of calculation, that we leave the fees where they are.
Okay.
Now, if the calculation changes to a square footage from a piecemeal or whatever it is, and it goes up a little bit, I'm okay with that, if it's simpler. So,
Yeah.
no, that's my opinion.
Yeah.
I like the change for the cents portion of it, but as far as like the minimum fees, I think that keeping them the same would go smoother.
Yeah.
I definitely like smoother, so.
Yeah. Yeah.
We got plenty of challenges, so I don't want to create one here
So
unnecessarily.
are you guys talking about residential and commercial, or just the residential side? What am I hearing? I'm thinking residential,
I
keep
think
it the
it's
same.
residential,
With
yeah.
commercial, if it needs to go up. Remember, we're paying these guys more than we did in 2014 or whenever it was that we last, you know.
My main concern is for the individual homeowner or someone, not so much the contractor, but more just
Yeah.
regular person.
The thing that impacts the direct homeowner the most, those fees is what,
Yeah.
I hear you. I think that's But I'd like to leave do the commercial side. If you need to raise the fees for it, then that's what we ought to do. I don't know if that fits in your model, Rob.
I'm not gonna push back on the commercial. I agree. The
Yeah.
homeowner,
Yeah, it's the cost of business.
Yeah, it's that little old lady that has to go and buy a $500 hot water tank. That's a bummer.
That's where I
She's gonna
said the
be
last time
doing
that we
good
were
if
in
she
here,
finds
we
one for
discussed
500.
when it came to the point of people on fixed incomes,
Yeah.
people that have low incomes. Why can't we just waive those fees for those individuals based on an application? Why are we passing more of a burden already from a blown water tank to those homeowners that are on fixed incomes? I think we should eliminate fees for them.
I agree. Now,
It's
I agree with that, absolutely.
Good point.
For those that are unable to afford it, we need to look out for them.
We'll look at some options. I think an option that comes to mind that might be easier to administer in those circumstances is to have a program, or actually we have CDBG funds that might be able to be used with a program for, when you say fixed income, I'm thinking about, I'm thinking about what is the income level, because technically
Exactly.
everybody's on a fixed income, it's just some are bigger than others, but
Well, I'm
I think what
talking
you
ones
mean
that
is
are on fixed aid.
poverty level or whatever.
Government
Social Security only.
money, social security money, the government money, ones that aren't getting $100,000 a year retirement, you know.
One of the great things that's out there, a great benefit, just to remind, we give a lot of money to CDSA, and they have an emergency repair program. And the people that have financial hardships can certainly apply for emergency
I understand that
repair.
they can apply, but will they get awarded from them? I've heard plenty of people in this town that got denied more than they got awarded. So when we're cutting those people who are in the low income area, which is their statement, right on their website, their statement is for those low income, yet it's not guaranteed. And I know that there's people in this room right now that can stand up and say that they've been denied permitting, and they fit in those income areas. And I'm not gonna call them out, but I know
Well,
that to be true.
I won't debate this openly. We can talk later. I have talked to the CDSA and asked them about some of those situations, and we can talk more about it. But they very much want to help people. They do have some specific rules people have to fit in to be approved. So
Yes,
And that's where the problem is.
Yeah.
yes.
How do you,
Criteria.
how do you manage that?
Yeah, you
How
gotta have
do you
rules.
make those decisions? You gotta have some sort of an organization almost that makes, just for making that decision on, so I understand where you're coming from, but I just don't know if the city is set up to go through that, but I don't know how the finance
Well, in
department.
CDSA, I think it's federal funds, so I think they're using a matrix that's provided by the government that says, here's the income levels. So if it's outside of those levels, I don't think they can do it, even if they wanted to, because they're operating with funds that are provided. But,
And I'm on the board for CDBG,
yeah.
the vice president of that board. And that's the discussion that we've had. Scott, I believe you're on that board as well. And, at one time we had the rental rehab programs going, and that met the needs of what Commissioner Saragusa is talking about. But that phased out. And that's something that I've been trying to push to bring back. And I have talked with CDSA, and we're working on some things right now to try to be able to meet the needs of the people that need help. I mean, it's just that plain and simple. They need help. I mean, I don't think we need to have some type of categorization or some type of system to where you qualify or you disqualify. I think the qualification is you can't afford it. So if you can't afford it, let's fix the problem. So I think we have some work there before we really start indulging in making big changes with code and all that. I think there's a system that we need to take a look at and, behind closed doors, and then bring it back to the public to see what decisions we've made as a council to be able to meet the needs of the people that need money so that they can live.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Scott.
Yep.
Item 3.5, discuss the 5-year asphalt program.
Good job.
Good evening. My name's Ashley Humphrey. I'm the supervisor for the Stormwater Roadway Maintenance Department. Today I wanted to start going over a little bit of our 5-year asphalt plan. Before we begin, I wanted to just go over a few things. Right now, we have actually tripled the amount of roads that we have laid since January 1st. Compared to when we first started this program. So we are actually down to about a week's time frame from start to finish on these roads. I have a great crew. They have really turned this program around, and they're working day and night to try to find different and better ways to be more effective with this program. As you can see here are some of the roads that we've completed since January 1st. We have York Street, 2nd Street, 3rd Street, Cornell Avenue, Columbia Avenue, Kennedy Street, Rolling Oaks Drive, South 6th Street. We also did the YCA, I think I did that wrong, alleyway. And then we have East State 81 Frontage Road. That one was from Phillips Road to Carrier Road. That was a huge stretch for us. I think it almost took us a month to do. It was a lot longer than we anticipated it to be.
About a mile, wasn't it?
Yeah, about a mile. It was a lot of road. This actually, 81 Frontage Road, that road was the first road that we used our asphalt zipper on. So it gave us a really good learning curve, I guess you'd say. So we've done Shady Lane from Purdue to 81 Highway, 3rd Street, Princeton Avenue, 5th Street from East Illinois to East Indiana, and Wabash Avenue. We currently have on the schedule for tomorrow to lay asphalt on Reverend Allen Baldwin Jr. Way from York to Indiana. We started prepping that road on Monday, and we will be finished laying asphalt tomorrow. So that's a huge accomplishment for us to get things done that fast. These are just some pictures. So for instance, this is 6th Street from 412 to State Street. You can see the improvement. This picture, we have one pass of our zipper on. You can see that on the right-hand side. So that's what it looks like when we take the zipper down there and mill it up. We go in there, we pack it back down, or we remove the millings if we need to get a better depth on it. We have York from 6th to 7th. This was a huge overhaul in this in Southern Heights area. This was a road that we've been trying to get done for a really long time, and we were finally able to accomplish that. And then this one was not supposed to be done right away, but we did add it due to an issue of the road eroding. So it was more of a safety concern that we had to take care of. This was 13th from Oklahoma to 412. As you can see, it was huge job done here. And this was the alleyway that we had completed as well, the beginning and the end of that. I want to point something out too. We don't only just go in there and lay asphalt. We do a lot of prep work. As you can tell in this picture, we trim back trees, we pull the sides back of the road. We get it back to the original standard that it's supposed to be. So it's not just go in there, lay the asphalt and be done with it. There's a lot of prep work that goes into these roads. So these are our projected for the rest of this year. You can't really see it that well. It looks like we have 5th Street from York to Indiana, 6th Street, Illinois to Ohio, 7th, 5th, 4th again, East Wabash, East York, and then West Nagle. And this is just to finish up this fiscal year, so until July. For our year 2, these are our projections. Now, I just want to note also that roads will be added. They could be added and moved around as need be for emergency purposes, of course. And then also, if we happen to finish all these roads, we will move on to the next upcoming year. These are some pictures. This is Birch Avenue from Kennedy Street to 2nd Street. So these are just before pictures to show what we have upcoming. This would be year 3. We have roads like Madison, 15th, Park, 22nd Street from Pine Avenue to Walnut Avenue, Vine, Ash, and Broadway Avenue from 26th to 25th. This is Ash Avenue from 11th to 13th. Uh-oh, I didn't do it. Oh, there goes, okay. 4th, I'm blaming Everett. This would be our year 4. We have 24th Street, Cottontail, Acorn Trail, Arlene Drive, Quailwood Drive from Rolling Oaks Drive to Willow Road, Fox Drive, Locust Avenue, Monroe, and Columbia. This one right here is Columbia Avenue from Midway to Yucca. On year 5, we have Hayes, Dana Drive, Princeton, Stoll Court, Ritchie Avenue, Harvard, Maple, and Hayes. Here's a picture of Quailwood Drive, Rolling Oaks to Willow. We did go ahead and do Rolling Oaks Drive from Cleveland to the entrance of that development right there. So these are just some pictures, just to kind of show you what we do on the asphalt site. Any questions, comments, concerns?
We got winter weather coming up. Does that interfere with the laying of asphalt, or how does that?
Absolutely. We will lay asphalt 42 degrees and rising. So that means the ambient temperature of the air is 42 degrees and rising. Right now, we have a smaller asphalt machine. We have a 1000G, which is it's a lead boy. We're working on trying to get a new one eventually, where it's going to have the capabilities to lay it better at those lower temperatures. Obviously, the warmer it is, the better we get the mat on the ground, so it looks better.
Okay.
Yeah, my comment is the work is professionally done. I've went out and taken a look at a lot of work that you all have done around town. It's very professional. The transition is really smooth.
We've worked on that hard.
Really smooth, and I'm glad to see it, and I just want to thank you all for what you've done. I did notice that in Commissioner Saragusa's area, I didn't see many streets in his ward on that list. And there's a lot of streets in his ward. Don't forget about Ward 3.
Okay.
Seriously, don't forget about it.
This list was compiled before I came on board, like I said, it's ever changing. So we will definitely look at Ward 3. You said correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I just want to add to that because I have personally had some issues with some streets, and you all are addressing those and have addressed my issues that were on a top priority, and I appreciate that a bunch, and so do my constituents.
We're trying. This program has been a long time in the making, and we've worked really hard. My guys have worked really hard. I have a great group. And what's amazing about it is that they, even on their off time, they're watching YouTube videos. They have passion and desire to make the city better, and you can ask for better people than that. I did want to point out really quick, the average tonnage that we do lay on a road is about 200 tons of asphalt. So it's a massive amount. We went from starting this project only being able to lay less than 100 tons a day, and that was on a good day, to now we're laying over 200. I think the max we've laid was almost 300 tons in one day.
Wow.
So amazing.
And is all that with one machine, or?
Yes.
So we just have one machine now?
We do. We have one lay-down machine. It's
It's smaller. We got it as like a starter machine. And what happens is they have to pull up with a truck, dump it into the bed of the machine. They have to raise it and drive off. You guys should really come out one day when we're laying an asphalt job and come see it. It's amazing how they do it. It's really a symphony, when you get all the parts working together. So.
Sorry.
I knew you probably do this, but on the weekends, I just drive around on roads and look at them. And they're exactly right. When you go east of downtown, the roads are crummy. And my ward kind of ends right there on the edge of, so I'm not trying to out my ward because we're in pretty good shape. But the other thing I wanted to ask you is, what if a group of homeowners, Gerald, so somebody calls me, is it appropriate to say, well, get all your buddies on your street and show up? I mean,
You mean at a council meeting or something?
or come down here and talk to somebody. I mean, because if your street's really bad and everybody on your street agrees with you, that ought to have some weight in getting it done. I mean, I think that's the way government ought to work. In our own HOA, which we have to pay for our own streets, but when it got bad, everybody got together at a homeowners meeting and said, okay, let's chip in and get the street fixed, and that's what happened.
We have roads all over Enid that obviously need repair. Our roads were never built for the infrastructure that we're bringing in here. We're trying to update them the best we can. We have to pick and choose, obviously, what are the worst roads at this time. I feel like if you drive around Enid, you'll see roads all the time, but the only way that I can really honestly get you on this plan or know that there are issues, come down here, give me a call, email me, but I can't do anything if I don't know about it or if we don't know about it.
Yeah,
So
I appreciate that.
bringing those people down here, talking to me, there's been people all the time come to my office and say, hey, I need help. And, we'll do anything to even get a temporary patch on that road for you to get it drivable until we can get out there and fix it appropriately.
And everybody's opinion about what's good and what's bad is different. If
Sure.
it's a pothole in your front yard, it's bad. But your street may be really good,
Absolutely.
So, but I asked for the 5-year plan. I appreciate you doing that, putting that together, and I think we ought to visit it more often. Because the one common theme of people that are unhappy, or you go to a meeting, people bring up roads. They do. And like I said, the east side it's a problem, so.
Absolutely.
I'll shut up.
And also, just so you know, we are not a construction crew, so we cannot do total reconstruction. That's left up to these fine gentlemen and ladies, but we do the best we can for temporary reasons or to extend the life of a road. So that's another thing too. A lot of those roads on the east side, they're beyond repair. They're beyond what I can do, unfortunately. I'd love to go in and overlay every single one of them, but some of them are just not there. So I will look into your Ward 3 and make sure that we can fit them in some places, and I will see what we can do.
And I have one question. You may know the answer, or Jerome may know. Is it ODOT that's doing Southgate
Yes.
Road? Or
That's county.
That's county? Okay.
And I believe, I don't know what the timetable is. I'm thinking they're at least a month away, and we do.
Are they still in
After
phase
the New
2?
Year was last
New Year.
update.
Okay.
Yeah, I think they're still on phase 2 with that, if I'm not mistaken, right? They're on phase 2 of their plan, I think. They haven't made an announcement for phase 3 that I know of, right?
Yeah.
Is the cost of asphalt going on with the price of oil, and so it's a lot more
Yes.
costly, so we don't get as many miles per 100 tons or whatever?
So we do about, I figured average price of asphalt, depending on what mix I get. So there's different mixes for different areas that we need it. Average is about $83.50 to $85 dollars per ton. So you're looking at the average cost being anywhere from $10,000 to $16,000 for 200 tons of asphalt. I'm not a mathematician, so don't hold that to me, but I mean, so we're looking. It's pretty pricey, but it's a lot cheaper than going concrete. That's for sure.
Well, if we buy concrete, we have will we buy it in bulk over a period of a year? What, do we do the same thing with the asphalt or no?
No, no, unfortunately, well, we have a PO with them for a certain amount, I believe it is, but the price, with their state contract, the way that it runs, and Cummins Construction's the only place we can get it their price changes based on the oil prices. So as the oil price goes up, the price of that asphalt changes. Right? Am I wrong?
For the state contract, it changes per month.
Per month, thank you. So,
I would just like to say, Ashley, you all have 75 square miles to take care of, and with the budget that you have, I think y'all are doing a great job.
thank you. We appreciate it, so.
Yeah, and just finally, the 5-year plan's not complete, obviously. There's more than just, streets in Ward 3. We want to make sure we look and we'll graph out a map, because ultimately what we want to do with this 5-year plan is not only talk to you guys more about it, post it on our website so that we all get some relief. People can look at it and then they can say, well, hey, my street's not on there, and call us. Or they can say, okay, my street's on there. Why is it in year 5 or year 4? And at least that'll be an easier conversation than, hey, my street's not on there at all. This program has far exceeded my expectations, and so it's only made my expectations grow, because although, as Ashley said, it is not what we did on Randolph, where we paid $1.2 million or whatever for Cummins or whoever their subcontractor was to lay that, but it's pretty good. And for the people that are driving on those streets, it's really, really good. And so it is a very effective program. I want to say the budget's we amended the budget. I think we have $700,000 or something like that.
We already
For
used
materials.
we already used the 200,000, so now we're working on that 500,000.
And so we have, and that goes farther because that's just materials. We're already paying for Ashley and the crew, which is great, so we don't count that when we talk about the cost of the program. But it's a great program, and we're going to look to try and figure out how to get more resources there. And maybe someday, it'd be great to have 2 crews and 2 machines, like you pointed out, because then we can.
That's what I was gonna suggest. We need to put on the capital budget to get another machine.
Absolutely. So, and I think we're already looking at machines for that.
We are.
But as we look at this program and the years, what Ashley has to take into account too is it's not, well, particularly with one crew, it's not efficient to just do one block here and then move it to a different, like from the east side to the west side or the north side or the south side. So that's why we're trying, like for instance, right now you're in Southern Heights, and I think
Yes.
most of those streets you mentioned, like I think you showed about 8 more streets at least.
Yeah, the rest
We're
of
trying
the
to get
year,
done.
I want to get Southern Heights complete on the roads that need done. I feel like they deserve it. Everybody in Enid deserves it, but we need to make sure we get them taken care of.
So we will talk about this more, because it is, when we talk about it should be a priority, what that means to me is there should be more money for that. So money should follow the priority. So if fixing streets are a priority, then we're going to do everything we can. And that may mean we may not have something that somebody else wants, like something else flashy or something else that, quality of life is very important, but I think quality of life starts with the foundation.
I mean,
Good roads provide good quality of life.
Exactly. I
It's a
mean,
good start.
we're building the infrastructure here in Enid. We want to bring more businesses in, more people in, and the only way we can do that is by having good roads. You don't have the roads to handle the traffic, or, somebody doesn't want to buy a house on a road that's full of potholes. That makes your market value go down on that house. So I think everything starts with your roads. So if you guys would like to provide me with another 30 employees, I'd be very happy with that.
I want to say one other thing too, and it's really about our engineering program, which isn't necessarily what we're talking about, but it kind of leads with when we do the total rebuilds, like Ashley's saying, I have become very aware now of bad roads. Mayor, you mentioned some of it to me in Pheasant Run, and I know we fixed some of that with our concrete program, but when I went and looked at that, I knew immediately what was the problem, because I've gotten educated. They were not built right, and they were built, maybe our standard was different, maybe we allowed sand, I don't know, but when I see concrete on the west side particularly, or new concrete that's all busted up, and then I see old concrete on the east side that's still serviceable, I know, hey, that wasn't done right. And so that brings back the importance of our inspection programs and engineering, which I know sometimes you may hear complaints about. Hopefully you haven't, but sometimes we get complaints.
Speaking of your inspection programs, you're talking about what we can see. What about subterranean? How many issues do we have subterranean that are causing our issues up on the street? And that- And it's like I said, a lot of that's on the east side too, because we have a lot of stuff crumbling up underneath our streets, hence the rebuild on East Maple. And everything else that there, the sewer lines and everything else going in on there.
Sewer lines, water lines.
Water lines, sewer lines, everything collapsed on East Maple, and that's getting done this year, so. But it's just not a surface thing. Everybody gotta understand that we've had a lot of inspections done here this past couple of years underground. And up on, I believe, 12th and was one of those.
Yeah, the one on Chestnut where the major water or stormwater pipe caved in was one of our most interesting.
Yeah, so.
Okay, good. Thanks. I'd like to make one more comment. That is, our constituents, one of the things that they've asked for in the last couple of years, and I think that they deserve, is more visibility and more transparency on what's going on. And I think this 5-year program on where we're putting streets is exactly the kind of thing that they're looking for and that they deserve. So I appreciate it. I know it's a lot of work to put that together, but it puts it in front of us and it lets us take a look at it and say, wait a minute, how come we don't have anything from this street to that street? And it's fair. So I appreciate all the work that's been done, and I appreciate the visibility you've given us. So, thank you. All right. That said, we can adjourn, and we will reconvene at 6:30.